Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Okay, now that Japnam Singh's done my enrollment pitch for me for Khalsa Secondary, he seems to think it makes me popular with my students, but they're probably thinking, oh goodness, we hear her all year, now we have to hear her again. For those of you that are new to camp, welcome. Like Japnam Singh said, this is my 4th or 5th time speaking. I've lost track. But I always love coming back to Khalsa camp and to speak and share my ideas. And he's put kind of pressure saying my presentations are well liked, but I do like to hear feedback from campers afterwards. Come talk to me. I'm here for the day. I am working this week, so I can't stay the whole week, but I would love to talk to campers, especially if you've never spoken to me, whether you're coming to Khalsa Secondary or not. And if you're from out of town, you haven't spoken to someone, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about have a discussion. This talk, I think, I want to hear a little bit about what you think also. And I'm going to try to speak a little bit of Punjabi too. I know K campers that feel more comfortable in Punjabi. But a little bit, I want to know your ideas about some of the things that I present. I just did this presentation in July, end of July at Camp Kirpa, and I felt that I learned a lot from the campers. So Japnam Singh said those who are the bravest or those who come to camp alone. I honestly think that, and we all have our own opinions, and I say this in my school too, the ones who are the bravest are the ones who share their opinions. And they're not scared of what others think about them around them. And so I really want you to dig deep today and just think to yourself, okay, if I have an idea, I'm going to share it. So that's all I'm going to ask, is that even if you're in your groups, ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ groups ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ 3 ਜਾਣੇ ਬੈਠੇ 4 ਜਾਣੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ comfortable ਹੈ, put up your hand, share the ideas when I ask, because I'll wait you out if I get I'm a teacher and now a principal, and there's no such thing as awkward silences for me. I'll wait you out, okay? So if you have an idea, put it up. So it is a discussion about the internal relevance of Guru Sahib's teachings, okay? And I've named it the Sada Salamat Nirankar, but we'll talk more about that as we go through the presentation. So I think we've gotten a pretty good idea of who I am. But why I'm here is a little bit different. Every time I'm invited to speak at camps, I do hesitate, but I always, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, I ultimately say yes. And the hesitation comes from, what do I have to offer? And a lot of people think that in our panth, what do I have to offer? I'm not a speaker, I'm not a pracharak, but we had a presenter here, I think it's by Jagjit Singh from England, who came, and I said the same thing to him. I said, ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਗਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਗਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਖੜ ਕੇ ਬੋਲੀਏ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਬੋਲੂਗਾ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਨਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ, right? ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਈਡੀਆ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ. It's important to share your ideas, so that's why I'm here. But like you guys, I'm here to learn too. I'm here to listen to your ideas, get a different perspective on things, because if we don't share perspectives, we're done, right? If we go through life with just our perspective. I don't love making broad generalizations or sweeping generalizations. I don't like saying that everything's going horribly in the world right now. That, technology is making everything worse. I don't make statements like that. There's a pro and con to everything. And there's 2 things that I've noted in my past couple of years of work with the youth. There's youth that are so devoted to Guru Sahib. I just went, like I said, I went to Camp Kirpa, and I had someone pick me up from the airport and drop me off back again, and it was about a 40-minute drive. And instead of talking, there was 3 of us in the car, including myself. It was, let's do Aarti, let's do Arta, let's sing Slok Mahla Nawa, the sloks. right? And and we sang it. And I was so inspired. These are people that are 10, 15 years younger than me, and this is their nickname. This is what they do. And, just all types of Gurmani, whatever they can think of, instead of talking. Because what do we do when we sit in the car? I don't know, I talk, right? So that was inspiring to me, and that gave me hope. But I also see youth, wherever it might be in BC, might be in Ontario, England, whatever it might be, I see a distance being created, forgetting. And thinking, Guru Sahib is someone over here, and we are here. And that concerns me. And I'm going to be honest with you, those of you who go to KSS, I say this to you when I walk into the Gurdwara Sahib, which is, why are you scared of me walking into Gurdwara Sahib and saying, be respectful, this is our discipline that should be there in Gurdwara Sahib? When you have the king of the world sitting in front of you, the respect shouldn't come for me walking in as your principal. It should come for just the fact that you're walking to Guru's Darbar. And I don't fault people. I don't fault students for that. I don't fault, because we go to our divans on Sundays and, we go to weddings and everyone's talking in Darbar, and that's our general etiquette now, right? And so I'm not going to make a sweeping generalization and say, all respect for Guru Sahib is declining. No, but I do see really concerning things. And so that's why I'm here, where some of the stuff I say might be simple. It's stuff you might know. But this is a good reminder. It's a good way to start off. Why are you here? That you know. And I hope it's to learn something. If you're into Sikhi, and I always do say this, that if you are in a Gursikh household, and tusi je jamme pale Gursikhi vich it's a great thing, bahut changi cheez hai. But kei vari apa us cheez nu we take it for granted. Apa bholan lag pende ha ke this is, ke Sikhi da sade ghar vich hai ya assi Gursikh ha. Right? We think this to ourselves sometimes. So whether your parents are Amritdhari, not Amritdhari, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum. We all need that reset. We all need that reminder. And I hope, and if you don't have that Sikhi around you, I hope you're here to learn, discuss, and share ideas. Right? So that's always what I like to start off with, just a reminder to ourselves as to why are we here? Yeah, it's great, hang out with friends, socialize, but really learn in that self-reflection. I hope that's taking place. Okay, so now it's moving on. This is what I want you to do right now. Okay, I want you to ponder what the world will be like in 550 years. मैं चाहती हूँ कि सारे जाने जिन्ने भी बैठे हैं तुसी एक दूसरे नाल, I'll give you the activity afterwards. I'm just gonna wait till the next slide. तुसी ये सोचो कि 550 साल में सारी दुनिया दा की होगा, की बनोगा, right? And not just negative, positive too, right? Where do you think we'll be? Okay, so here's kind of the activity, and I want you to take 5 minutes is a lot. I feel that people start to go off topic, and the one thing I can do, I pretty much know if conversations are on track or not, wherever you're sitting. It's something you have to know for teaching and figure out. So when I start to hear conversations declining into how lunch was, or what you're going to do for recreation, I'm going to pull you back. But that usually takes about 3 minutes. Okay? But here's the activity I want you to do. Tusi apne naal jine Kaur baithe hai, 2-3 jane, piche baithe hai, turn around, group of 4 or 5. Okay? Consider changes in society, technology, ethics, emotions, how we think, how we process things, intellect. A really good thing for this is think of issues that we face today and where will we be 550 years from now when it comes to issues. Just focus on one thing if you want to. Okay? If you have a pen and paper, write it down. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure someone can recall what they discussed in 3 minutes, but I will pick on people. And I won't just pick on the KSS students, I will pick on other people and just say, hey, what did your group talk about? Okay? But I'm hoping that I don't have to do that and you'll volunteer. so now, 3 minutes. What will the world be like in 550 years? If you need some guidance, look up here. And we just discuss. What will it be like? I have permission to share this. The Marine Corps down here who came up to me and said, I want to discuss this with you. And I said, what is that? She said, we're going to have more sikhs in the world. And we're all going to be grandmas. So, right? Yeah. And there's going to be some magical stuff happening. Yeah. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's a mortality check there. We're all going to be grandmas. Okay. So what's going to happen in the world in 550 years? There's going to be more sikhs, okay?
People are going to build more with water, and they're going to build more campsites and more camps.
Okay, more campsites. I love the positive stuff. Yes, other court.
There could be a Colosseum.
There could be?
A Colosseum.
Oh, Colosseum. Okay, all right. Do you want to talk about? Okay, all right. Khalsa yoga. Okay, yeah.
Global warming is going to destroy the world.
Okay, global warming is going to destroy the world. It only took 3 answers to get to that. Radeep saying. My husband said that would be the first answer someone would say. Yes, back there. Yeah. There's not going to be an Earth. Okay. Other ideas here? Anything here? I haven't heard from this side yet. What about yes?
There'll be like more water than land. There is still more water than land, but like there'll be no land.
So we're going to be, our sea levels are rising. Okay, yeah, more climate change.
Open space, like in these other open space, maybe like they're creating like so many buildings and all.
So much more density, so much more population. Technology will improve. Okay. More technology and less emotions. Okay. What about the Bibi back there? तो साढ़े जो किसी को idea है क्या कोई? 550 साल में की बनाया?
जाकर्ता सिटी को साझा प्रयाण सोई.
हाँ जी.
जाकर्ता सिटी को साझा प्रयाण सोई.
आप पे जाने सोई. ठीक है. हाँ जी. We're all going to move to Mars. We're going to have to define a different planet. Yes.
I think the cultures are going to dissipate into like a one single culture, and like the languages are going to kind of dissipate.
Cultures or races? Cultures? Okay. All right. That's an interesting thought. Okay. Yes. Sorry?
Like the all countries are open right now, they're going to go down and make more brands.
Okay. There's going to be more brands. Okay. All right. So, did any of you talk about any issues we're facing today? Farmer? Do you have your hand up? No? Okay.
In Miami, the sea levels are rising, and they're creating costs, but those costs about $400 million. They'll be up there for 50 years, and then they're going to have water, sea level are going to rise.
Are we going to rise above those? Yes.
I was telling my group that I saw recently on Facebook that we have only 30 years left on this earth, and I was saying, I don't know whether we're going to be here in 550
years. Okay. That's a lot of doom and gloom. Okay. A lot of information from Facebook too. Okay. All right. Brandon saying?
Nobody's going to be here. The entire earth is just going to be too hot for us to live.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. Maybe I shouldn't have called on that one. All right. Okay. So, a lot of doom and gloom, right? We're doing things to ourselves. Okay, let's think about it. We're doing things to ourselves which put our existence in question. So, we don't even know if we'll be here. Is the earth going to be here, or are we going to be here? Right? So it's a good question. Okay, so let's just go on to, did anybody talk about intellect or emotions at all? Yes.
Someone in my group said that, okay, well, many of us were more advanced or more polite back then, so maybe we're going to be more advanced or more disciplined.
Okay, more disciplined and more emotionally evolved, you think? Yes. Maybe? Okay. All right. So what do you think? My next question is, I'm not going to put you in groups for this. I just want you to think about it. What do you think are things that cannot be changed about us? That cannot be changed about us? That are inevitably a part of human nature? Yes. Greed. You were going to say, yeah? Okay, the Panchachor, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, right? It can't be changed. What else can be changed about us? More specifically. Parmu? Okay, genders, yeah? Well, we won't go down that path, but they can't be changed these days. Okay, Vineet? Yes.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay.
Talking. We'll still be talking.
We'll still be talking. Yes, what can't be changed about the thing?
With anything.
We can't be perfect with anything? Yeah, then that's not going to change about us. We're not perfect as humans, right? I like this girl. Whose daughter is she? Okay, there you go. Thank you. Right? So let's talk about a few things. The Panchor, I do talk about at the end here, but just some things here. Feelings of superiority. These are my ideas, right? So you have your ideas. Just think about the side. And I tried to break it down even more than just the Panchor. Feelings of superiority. Of who we are. Like we're better. Actions out of fear. Think about how many times we react out of fear. Apne kisi cheez to dar lagta and we react right away. Right? And politicians do this. Governments do this. People do this. People and families do this. Okay? It's difficult to change opinions and thoughts and actions. How many of you, like to form habits, how many of you have heard that it takes 21 days to change a habit? How many of you have heard that before? Okay. I would argue it takes way longer. Right? Otherwise, we would be all perfect versions of ourselves. Okay? Reluctance to admit weaknesses, faults, wrongs. I don't see that changing. Okay? Reliance on things to make us feel better. And this isn't just material things, handbags or laptops or technology. Just things, experiences, seeing things. Making us feel like we're doing something with our life. Right? The belief that our problems are unique. I people watch a lot. In my school, when I'm walking around, I listen a lot. I talk a lot too, but I do try to listen more. I've made this resolution. I'm working on the habit. Okay? And what I've observed, everyone is walking around talking about their problems like they're the only people in the world experiencing that problem. But everyone's problems are pretty much the same. Yeah, there's medical problems, there's health problems, but when it comes to problems in relationships, and I don't mean in husband-wife, I mean amongst friends, amongst families, सारियां दियां जिन्नियां उन्हां नूं problems होणियां सारियां एक किस्म दियां हैगियां एक चीज तो originate कर रही हैं. So we don't want to admit that we're wrong. And we go around and talking and talking and talking about these things. It's all the same. Okay? But we believe that ours are unique. But listen to what I have to say. Right? A focus on self. So whether it's self-improvement, whether it's getting more for yourself, even, the best people, the focus, and it should be on ourselves a little bit. It should always be on our inner self. But that focus, if it's too much on yourself and not around the impact you have on others, then that's problematic too. We always believe we do the same things over and over again, expecting different results. ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹੀ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ expect ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ outcome ਹੋਗਾ ਉਹ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੋਗਾ. Right? We expect this. And this is what I don't see, this is what stems from the Panchor. Right? The Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. So, I just want us to keep that in mind. And some of the stuff that you all said too, which is all linked to this. So, someone tell me, why did I ask 550 years? Yeah. right? Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab is coming up. We're all hearing 550 saal Guru Nanak Dev Ji de naal, right? The Gurpurab's coming. So many yatras are being planned to Pakistan, to, you know, Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab's coming up. And it's been and it's not just Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I want us to think of it this way. It's been 550 years since that Jodh that is now embodied in our Bhavan Guru, Guru Granth Sahib, Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, came to this earth. Okay, think of it in that way. And how many of us kind of, you know, how many celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and all? How many celebrate birthdays? I just say birthdays. Okay, we celebrate birthdays. All right. Why do we celebrate birthdays? Yes.
Because it's fun to spread happiness off your Janamdin.
Okay, perfect. It's fun to celebrate happiness off your Janamdin, right? But what is it a time for also?
It's to recognize a milestone.
Okay, it's to recognize a milestone. But what did we really do? We were born. Right? What did really you have to do with that? What's the celebration of that? The only way I think the celebration is for us to look forward and look back and reflect. That's what these anniversaries are for. This is why, if you're not, you know, we're excited and we're all going to sing Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab Shabads, and that's amazing. That's amazing. But if we don't take this time to reflect of why that Jodh came onto this earth and what it means going into the future, then there's really, I'm not saying there's no point in doing Shabad, there is, but this is the point of celebrating these anniversaries, these milestones, is to reflect. So, you know, and in order to move forward, and reflecting on Guru's teachings, which, do they still apply? मैं बहुत बारी ये गल सुनदी हां, वो तो पुरानियां गल्लां हैं। ਉਹ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਸੀਗਾ। ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ 2-3 ਜੌਬਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ। ਹੁਣ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ? And if you point out a great Gursikh, you're like, look at what they're doing. Yeah, but they can do that. They're at that stage in their life. When I get to that my stage, ਅਸੀਂ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਹੋ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ. Right? We say that. And the thing about it is, I don't think times are too different. Guru Sahib's times, there was political struggles. There was all the issues that we have today, just in a different form. It just came out differently because it wasn't about social media, it wasn't about technology. Everything was there. You know, we think our problems are unique. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's sons wanted a Gurgati, wanted power, right? They wanted what Guru Nanak Dev Ji had, and they saw this, and there was a struggle to fight over that. That's what I see today. We fight over money in families. We fight over power in our gurdwaras. We fight over in the littlest of institutions, we fight over power, over money, over recognition, over superiority, right? So, I don't know, let's see, does it apply? So, just taking out things that you have said, things I heard in Camp Kirpa, looking at what doesn't change in human nature, there's 5 areas that I want to focus on today, and I'll speak to them, you know, in this kind of order. That what's wrong in our from the Panchod and what's going on in human nature, the things that won't change. The consistency comes in lack of equality. The consistency comes on reliance on things for happiness. These are things that don't change. The pursuit of beauty. This kind of comes from that concept, that focus on self all the time. But I chose to focus on beauty, and you'll see why. And this is more for my Bibi and the Saints too in here. We'll talk about that. Consequences of it, disregard for consequences. That comes as, you know, the consistency in human nature. We don't really think outside of what we do. We don't think how it'll impact others, how it'll impact our planet. Let's talk about climate change a little bit. And then, of course, forgetting we're mortal. that the Kaur has reminded us here, right? Forgetting that we're mortal. So we're going to talk about these 5 things, and we're going to talk about how it impacts us, how we see it in society, but we're also going to look at what Guru Sahib has to say about these things, had to say about these things. Okay? So I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to start out with lack of equality. And I want your views on this, and I'm not going to put you into, I want like a minute discussion on it. And I want you to consider this. In society, are we all equal? What does equality mean? We always say we're fighting for equality, we're fighting for justice. What does that even mean? Are we all equal? Okay? As far as you can think back in history, can you give me examples of where equality was practiced? Okay? What causes inequality? And then I want you within your mind, so that's society, within your mind, because we're here to self-reflect, remember? That's why we're here. Have you ever had the thought that you're better than others? Just a thought. Maybe you didn't act on it, just a thought. And this isn't confessional, I'm not going to ask you. I've had that thought. I'm going to confess right here. Right? Do you think you deserve more than someone else? ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋਚ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼? Do you think that sometimes? Okay, so 1 minute. I'm going to put my timer on. 1 minute. Talk about this. I'm going to come back to you. So not the 3, 4, 5 minutes. 1 minute. Okay, so let's talk, and I want to hear what you have to say about equality. What that equality is. Okay, within society. Why? Because, simply put, within our minds, we do not see all as equal. I have biases. I form biases. I battle those biases all the time. I make snap judgments when students walk into my office. Okay? And then I have to pull myself back and say, okay, no, stop. Think. Because when we make snap judgments, we're not seeing everyone as equal. Okay? So inequality exists. And we know this. And what did our gurus tell us? Okay? Here's a shabad by Guru Ramdas Sahib, and it addresses equality. Har har jas gaya, parampad baya, te uttam jan pradhan jiyo, tin ham char sreve, khin khin pagto ve, jin har meet lagan jiyo, har meetha laya, param sukh paya, mukpaga rati chare, Gurminder har gaya, har har or paya, har nama kant tare. But then there's this line here. Sab ek drisht samat kar dekha, sab atma ram pashan jiyo. Har har jas gaya, pan pad paya, te uttam jan pradhan jiyo. That line, those blessed, okay, that sing the praises of the Lord, Gursikhs. Okay, we bow at their feet. Guru Sahib, why Guru seems sweet to them, but they look upon all with equality. And it's just a line, right? Like, it's just a line, it's a line within Gurbani. But this is one of the characteristics of a Gursikh. Seeing everyone as equal. So, equality starts within us. It is battling that home-made. Okay? The Panchar. We have to have the avastha, the state, the kamai, the state of mind to look upon others as equal. Right? Just imagine, I want you to just close your eyes for 15 seconds and just imagine a world where you were surrounded by people who thought this way. Okay? Just imagine it. Who saw everyone as equal. It wouldn't be anywhere within our world. It wouldn't be in our institutions. It wouldn't be anywhere. It's going to be relevant 550 years from now, on the earth or not, wherever we are. And when we talk about the world, it might be a different planet. There's thousands of worlds out there. We know this in Gurbani. It's not just Earth. So who knows where it will be, or if it will be Earth or whatnot. But this still applies. Because you know how I said our problems aren't unique to us? They're probably not unique in any other world that exists. And you're naive in thinking if we're the only world out there. Right? It's everywhere. You think this will be relevant 550 years from now?
No.
Yeah or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one here, which talks about reliance on things for happiness. So, what do we rely on for happiness? Shout it out. What do we rely on for happiness? Money. What else? Friends. What else? Phones. We rely on phones. Oh my goodness. How many of you again go to KSS? Put your hands up. What's the one way Miss Mala can punish you?
Take away your phone.
Take away your phone. That's the only thing that works. Okay? All right? What else? What else do we rely on? Vacations, experiences. What else do we rely on? TV, shows, escapes from reality, movies, yes. Sleep, we all rely on sleep. That's me. That along with sleep comes what else? Come on, have you ever posted anything hashtag foodie? Food. What else? Food, okay. Social media, likes. Huh?
Did she say thank
I love that kid. Okay. Playing games, right? Video games. Oh, Fortnite. Okay. Yes. Yeah, like you rely on all these things for happiness. Anything unique, anything I've missed that we rely on for happiness here? Adventure. Yes. Escapism. Anything to kind of take us away from the reality of what is our world. Right? We look for ways to escape the Congo, and God, because really that's what's driving our world. Right? And we like that escape. How many of you would like to read books with happy endings? Right? This is what I used to do as a kid. I'd pick up a book, I'd read the inner jacket, then I'd read the ending, and if it had a happy ending, then I'd go back and read the book. Okay? Because I could not live with something that was not happy. Okay? So, what do we rely on for happiness? Okay, other things, some of the stuff that you didn't say, especially amongst our youth today. Okay, substances, alcohol, vaping, smoking, pot, as escape mechanisms. And I know some of you guys are scared to say this. I know you are. But let's have these conversations. The amount of glorification of alcohol I see amongst our sick Punjabi boys these days is absolutely shocking to me. Absolutely shocking to me. Vaping. People thinking, oh, this isn't going to hurt me. Hey, guess what? 50 years ago, they thought cigarettes weren't going to hurt you either. Okay? Pot, escapism, something to escape the feelings, the depression, the anxiety, which we know, the mental health issues, the domestic violence, the escapism. Material items, I feel sad, let's go shopping. It's actually scientifically noted that when you purchase something, the endorphins rise and you actually get that adrenaline. You get an adrenaline rush after you purchase something. And then comes the guilt. Right? Because you've spent money that you don't have. Friends, validation. Instagram did an amazing thing. What did Instagram do recently?
They got rid of the likes that you can publicly see.
Yes, you can't see who got how many likes publicly. Guys, I know people who count how many likes other people get. Okay? They sit there and count the likes other people get. Alright? How sad is that? I'm sorry if you've ever done that before. Okay, but that's sad. Okay? Moving up in life is considered buying more stuff. Right? Vaddi car le le, vadde ghar le le, ohne hun do ghar le le, ten makan le le. Right? Like that's moving up in life. Anything that allows us to escape inequality, reality. And what That's where that happiness is getting us. That's what we're seeing today. Okay, how many of you have heard of Marie Kondo? If it doesn't spark joy, get rid of it. Who doesn't want to admit it? Okay, never mind. Maybe your moms have asked them. Okay, but talking about how Marie Kondo is essentially this Japanese philosopher. She organizes stuff, and her thing is that if you don't have a lot of, if it doesn't spark joy within you, get rid of it. That too much stuff actually causes mental stress. That it actually clutters your mind. It's like an old Japanese concept. And if you ever do hear about her, actually read the book. The social media stuff is a very basic skimming of it. Health risks of other chemicals and vaping. We're hearing about that. That's what society is telling us. How giving makes us happy. How much this month are we supposed to give us
10%.
At least 10%. I always like to say at least. Okay, of our time, of our money, of our time to Guru Sahib, of Simran, whatever it may be, of thought, but we give that. And now society tells us, oh, giving makes us happy. Really? We already knew that. Okay? The benefits of minimalism, of having less stuff. 7 reasons why spending money on experiences makes us happy rather than buying stuff. But still, experiences, escaping reality. Right? Not wanting to focus on it. And, this is what society is telling us. What did Guru Sahib tells us makes us happy? Okay? So we have this Shabad here, and I want you to focus on, so we really talk about how friends and family really make us happy. Apan nu pata hai ki Guru Sahib kende hai, jehda apna nu saman hai, sona hai, diamonds, all this stuff doesn't make us happy. We know that. But I want to focus on friends and family for a second. And this Shabad has a line in it, and it says, Nari dekh vigasiye, nare hark sosog, gurmukh shabd rangavle, enes haras pog. Right? And gazing upon his wife, he's pleased. A man, a mortal, a person is pleased. But along with happiness, they bring you grief. And the Gurmukhs are attuned to the word of the Shabd. Day and night, they enjoy the sublime essence of the Lord. Even friends, even family. And that doesn't mean don't have friends and don't have family. It's more deeper than that. But it's the recognition that even these things that society is telling us makes us happy, they do bring grief along with it. But we as Gursikhs, as children of the Guru, we are told, right? We are told that we have to live amongst this stuff and attain our relationship with Guru, or keep our relationship with the Guru. So, Guru Sahib on friendship talks about har ek se naal mein dosti, har ek se naal mein sang. And it doesn't mean don't have friends. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's not what it means. The meaning is that you have to recognize your friends are there for Sangat, and if it's not positive Sangat, you need to distance. You need to figure that out. If it's having an impact on you. And yes, you should help other people who are struggling, but don't get dragged down with it. Koi jane kaban iha jagmeet. Does anybody know who our friend is in the world? Vaigu. Really? Our true friend. How many of you have ever had a friend that you've broken away from, grown apart from? Right? Okay, so all they're saying that the everlasting friendship is the one with the Guru. Okay? Alright, I'm just going to go a little bit faster here because I know my time's coming to an end. I really wanted to talk about the pursuit of beauty because I'm seeing a lot of it amongst kids kind of, not just your age in the teens, but in younger adults quite a bit too, under 30. So, someone very quickly, how do you define beauty? Eye of the beholder, oh Gagan Singh. He's looking for a wife, by the way. Okay. Alright, So, no, really, how do you define beauty? I can say that to him. He works with me. Okay, how do you define beauty? How do you define it? In society, how do you define it? What do you need to be? Okay, Bibi, come on, let's go. What do we need to be?
Fair, slim,
Fair, slim, groomed. Thank you.
Something that incites calm.
Okay, perfect. Okay, what else do you need to be? Captivating, mysterious, right? All these things we need to be. The hair and makeup industry. Okay, hair and makeup artists. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to show you this. All right. Makeup has made Kylie Jenner the youngest billionaire. Okay? Global cosmetic products market will reach a US 863 billion by 2024. 863 billion. How many hair and makeup artists do you see around you? And I'm going to just and this is for the Bibi, I really want this answer. How do these beauty standards make you feel? And I'm going to tell you I'm going to put myself out there. When I was younger, I read literature that prominently had fair-skinned, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girls in it. And this is what I thought was beautiful. I don't think that now, but that's how I grew up. And how do you think that made me feel? Not beautiful. So how do these beauty standards make you feel? Good about yourself? No, they're not designed to, because you literally are trying to attain the unattainable of being perfect all the time, looking perfect.
It's kind of fake identity.
Sorry?
It's kind of fake identity.
It is a fake identity. Right? And this is what you see all around you all the time. And what we're starting to see in society now is, how many of you kind of heard of this like body positivity movement? Okay? Yeah. Right? So you're starting to see like memes and Instagram posts like this, and there's like this whole movement out there. Like if tomorrow a woman woke up and decided they really just like their bodies, just think how many industries would go out of business?
All of them.
All of them. Don't value your body over your being. Right? And we're really starting to see a surgence of this alongside everything that was there, alongside the hair makeup artists, alongside the billions of dollars that's being spent on this. I'm not saying it's all going to be gotten rid of, but this is what society is trying to tell you now. And, Guru Sahib 550 years ago told you, say sundar sone, saad samijin bani. Those alone are beautiful and attractive who abide in the sad sangat. Right? The wealth, the beauty of the youth, the flowers are guests for only a few days. You can't attain this for the rest of your life. You are going to get old. We're all going to become grandmas and grandpas one day. Where's the lead card? Because she's gone. But, that's what we were told about beauty 550 years ago. How does that make you feel?
good, awesome.
Good, right? We're all going to be there. I know it's hard. It's not as simple as that. I know it's hard. Me saying those words to you is not just going to make it all better and make you feel better about yourself. I know that. I know that. Especially to the BBN audience. I know that. But know that there is a standard of beauty that you can attain, that doesn't have you chasing something that you can never ever achieve. Even supermodels are photoshopped. Okay?
मैं डिस्कस करने जाना कर रही हूँ.
Okay.
So ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ 24-25 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, I used to be ਮੋਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ.
Yeah.
So I used to do parties ਸਵੇਰੇ 5 ਵਜੇ ਆਹਾਂ ਹਨਾ. ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹਜੇ ਵੀ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬਿਊਟੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਹਨਾ. ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਉੱਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਆਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਦੇਖੀ ਹਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਸਜਾਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਸੋ ਐਵਰੀਬਡੀ ਵਾਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਜੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਵਾਉਣਾ ਰਾਦਰ ਦੈਨ ਚੂਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬੋਇਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਲਾਇਲਟੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਬੜੀ ਸਾਊ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੈਫਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੋਨੇ ਦੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਬਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸਾਊਪੁਣਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੈਫਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ
Pretty much, thank you, Bibi. Thank you. Pretty much what's on the inside. Thank you. And that's so much more powerful.
ਮੈਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਕਰਦਾ
Yeah, that's so much more powerful coming from a male than it is from me. Yeah, so much more powerful coming from a male sick in the audience than me. Because at the end of the day, it's really what matters on the inside. It's really, that's what matters. Your beauty's gonna go. Okay, so just, Guru's definition makes us feel loved. A standard that's attainable, beautiful, confident. All these movements that speak to encouraging us, motivating us, accepting ourselves. Guruji did this over 500 years ago. Okay, we're beautiful in the root that Guru Sahib gave us. And I know it's hard. I understand that it's difficult, but it's important to know and work to that, to accept that. Okay, all right, just moving on here quickly. I want to ask you, what are some ways that we ignore the consequences of our actions? What are some ways we ignore the consequences of our actions?
We make excuses for them.
We make excuses for them. Perfect. What else? What are some ways? Give me some examples. Yes. We blame others. That's great.
We just say that it was a joke.
It was a joke. Yeah, we do that all the time.
We make ourselves feel that we're right all the time.
We make ourselves feel that we're right all the time. Right? We speak harshly about others. Right? How many times have you been in a group of friends, and I'm not going to ask you, but to confess, this is not what this is about. But you're all standing around talking about someone, gossiping about them, and it makes you feel a little bit better about yourself for that moment. Right? Lots, right? For that moment, it makes you feel better about yourself. Even things like, I'm going to be really honest, you all talk about climate change. Right? We're not going to be here 550 years from now. We're going to be gone. So people who, I'm going to talk about eating meat and its impact, consequences on our spiritual health, consequences on the environment, on the earth. How many of you have read, we're coming up with sustainable meats now, Beyond Meat, Impossible Burger. We're coming up with these things, and they're appealing to meat eaters so that they'll eat less meat and there'll be less environmental damage. Right? Because we haven't thought about the consequences of our actions. Alcohol, tobacco, health consequences. We don't think about these consequences. Simple things. I'm going to share a thought with you where Kabirji writes about the simplicity of beans and rice diet. And how many, your parents tell you, don't eat junk food. It's not good for you. Don't eat sugar. Don't drink pop. Right? Well, now we have school districts pulling out vending machines from schools that have junk food in them. Right? Whereas we had buckets and gurus telling us to keep a simple diet. Plant-based diet, huge thing right now, right? Eating simply, eating what our earth gave us. And it was all along there. The gossip, the speaking harshly, all of this has consequences. And you'll see all of it. This is what society tells us now. We have Pink Shirt Day here in Canada. What does Pink Shirt Day, what is that? Someone tell us, yeah? Anti-bullying. Okay, do you guys not find it mind-boggling that we have to have a day where we have to remind each other to be kind to each other? initiative, don't get me wrong. Okay, that boggles my mind. And this is what society is telling us, health effects of cigarette smoke, changing your diet to combat climate change, be kind to one another. That our junk food bans are working in our Canadian schools. Right? Whereas and these are all consequences. We're dealing with the consequences of our actions. When it came to gossip, when it came to slander, Bhai Gurdas ji, Bhai Bibi ji told us, there's two shabads here. One is nindo nindo moko log nindo. That if you slander, that's essentially that person's, you take every bad thing away from them and bring it upon yourself. That nindya, right? And it talks about, there's another shabad here. जैसे मौन या स्यास करत अनेक जतन सुनत स्यार पाख्या रेहो ना परत है. The three vices of looking at other wives, keeping an eye on others' wealth, and slander inhibit the mind like a chronic disease. That's what Guru Sahib told us, and we don't think about the consequences of those actions at all. We don't think about it. Alcohol, intoxicants, meat. A lot of times in Gurbani, alcohol is translated as what? Wine. Okay? Because that was the thing of choice during those times. Kabir Pan, Mashri Sura Pan, Jojo Prani Khai, Tirth Bhat Naam Kiyate, Sabeh Rasat Tal Jaye. If you consume marijuana, that was the intoxicant, fish and wine, no matter what pilgrimages, fasts, and rituals you follow, it's pretty simple. It's not worth it. It's all going to hell. It's in Gurbani. And that's what we're being told today. Hey, let's reduce it a little bit. Our earth is going to... The message needs to be stronger. We need to not do it. Jit peete mat dur hoye, bal pave vich aaye. Drinking the wine, his intelligence departs and madness enters his mind. Right? There's so much about diet in Gurbani, and someone said to me, it doesn't say don't eat meat. No, but it tells you what happens when you eat it. Really? You have to come out and say it? Right? So this is really important. Now the last one here, I'm not going to give you a lot of examples. Gurbani is filled with reminders of
death.
Thank you. Mortality and death. And if I was going to give you these examples, I would be here all day. So just to kind of wrap it up here, we think we're immortal, so our focus is wrong. We think we have all the time to make things right? All the time to make things right. We have time to do the Sikhi stuff. Right? It's a prevalent theme, and this leads us to make decisions where we don't consider the impact. Unwise decisions. So, the 5 constants in human nature that were said by this Banji over here kind of drive all of this. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, and Ahankar. Guru Sahib told us this. We battle them every second. That was relevant 550 years ago. That's relevant today. It's going to be relevant 550 years from now, no matter where we are and where the world is. And this is what Gurbani tells us over and over again. And we know that Gurbani holds the answer to everything. I hope we know after today if you didn't know. Okay, and if you did know, I hope this is a good reminder that Gurbani holds the answer to everything in the past, now, and hopefully you now know forever into the future. Things that we are cautioned against now, told now, realizing now, the answers for those have been there for us. Following in Guru Sahib's path, ensures that nothing interferes in our relationship with Vaheguru. That our ultimate focus while we live amongst this world needs to be Him. Guru Sahib's word, Gurbani, is internally relevant. And that we are forever bowing down in reverence to Him. And that's where we come up with the Sada Salamat Nirankar. So I want you to take a minute with me right now. There's a shabad here. And just sing the last line with me. And I ask that everybody take a moment. I know I've been up here for a long time. And just close your eyes. And the shabad, the line, the pankti we're going to sing is Sabdyavo Ad Sate Jugad Sate Partak Sate Sada Sada Sate Janananik Das Sona. And the translation is that we should all meditate on Vaheguru, who was true in the beginning, throughout the ages, true here and now, will be true forever and ever. Okay, so let's take a minute here, and I'll go in and you follow me, please. Sabdyavo, 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 sabdyavo. ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ।
ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।